Lady, let's have the chicken gumbo.
What's the matter with everybody? Oh, I get it. I'm on television. Hi there, everybody. Ah, honey! I'm all right. But, honey, I think we stumbled onto a ring of cutthroat soup nappers.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dirk Cinema Files. And as you can see, we're still working on the Honey West Cobra. A couple things happened so far. If you remember the last episode, we were working on building the interior. And I was showing you guys how I build the seat belts, and the seat belts were red, and I realized shortly after I did all that work that they really should be black, so I changed them up and got black. Not a big deal, but just something to note. Also, I kind of like the black better because it gives more contrast to the interior. It's not all red, so I'm kind of digging that, so that's a good thing. Then the other thing, the catastrophe part of our show, which we have at least one every project. I was installing the interior into the body, and I was holding it in place, and it turns out I had some glue on my finger I didn't realize, and when I finally pulled my finger off the car, I pulled some of the paint off. It's not very easy to see because I primed it in white, and then of course then I put the Wimbledon white over top, but there is a blotch of white there that I need to fix now, so that's a little frustrating, and of course that sets back the clock a little bit, so we're gonna have to address that next. So otherwise we're getting close. I mean, we really are. We still have to put all the stuff on the body, like the the bumpers and headlights and blinkers and all that stuff. Another thing, I don't think I had mentioned this yet, I apologize if I did, but one thing that this kit is missing the decals. Now, I don't know if it didn't come with decals. I'm going to assume it did. I can't remember if this was a new kit. That's why I'm saying probably a used kit, but the decals are missing. And the decals in this case are not like, I'm not looking for the stripes or anything like that because it doesn't have it. I just need two decals, and that is for the, or actually probably four, the Cobra emblem on the front and the back. They're missing, and it's just got, it's got the etched piece or molded in piece, which is fine, and then once you put the sticker on top, I think it's going to look really good, but I don't have that, and I'm not going to try to paint that on because I'm just going to screw it up. It's going to be one of those things where this will sit until I can find either an aftermarket set or another kit that has the decals, so that part will be unfinished. Also, there's the side fender badges. I don't know if they come with a decal also or not, but again, I don't want to screw it up, so they're just going to stay the way they are until I can find those decals. If anybody has any idea where I can get some aftermarkets, I've been looking and can't find any, but if you know of a place, let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. So let's get on to fixing our paint mistake. Okay, so we got our paint issue sorted out. We had removed a piece of paint here with some glue on my fingers. Because of the white primer, it wasn't that noticeable, but it was noticeable. What we did, we decanted some of the Ford Wimbledon white, and then using a micro brush, I just took and dabbed on a couple layers to fill in the gap. Let that dry. Then using some microfibers, sanded it smooth. It's still visible, but not so visible. It's good enough, to be honest with you. Definitely not worth taking the whole car, stripping it down, and then repainting it. Definitely not that. At least that's not where I am with this to want to do that. After we sanded it down, used some Meguiar's polish, polished it up, and it looks pretty good. That when you get the windshield in and all the other stuff, I don't think you'll notice it too much. So that's where we are with that. Then we put the body on the chassis, and we found a new issue. Okay, well, what we did is when we put it on, we found, one, the car was riding real high. There's a huge gap between the top of the wheel and the fender, and they stuck out. I mean, I'm exaggerating here by like this, but they stuck out of the fenders. They should be tucked under the fenders. So I started working with the front wheels, and that was relatively easy because there's some space in here. But we broke the wheels free, made some trimming on the inside. So we moved them in, and then we moved them up a little bit. So now when they go in to the chassis, they sit pretty good. Not perfect, but they sit better. But the problem is now is the back wheels still stick out, so it looks like a go-kart, you know, and of course it's jacked up. There's still a height difference. Because of the way the suspension is here, it's not going to be as easy to fix, but we're going to have to try. We're going to have to cut off these wheels, and we're going to have to shrink them in and up and see what we can do. Of course, it's going to cause us, as you can see, how the exhaust is in there. They're almost right up against the wheels. We're going to have to kind of relocate those a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think when it's done, it's going to be ugly if you turn it over and look at the work, but sitting on a shelf like this, I think it'll be better. So, you know, it is what it is. So next step, we're going to start taking these wheels off, doing all kinds of cutting and hacking and reapplying the wheels and see if we can't get them in a better location. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are back. We did some work and we got our wheels all up and tucked into the fenders like they should be, and also lowered the ride height. We're no longer riding high in the front and the back, making it look like it was some four-wheeler or something. Although the idea of a four-wheel drive Cobra would be kind of cool. Anyway, back to the Honey West Cobra. Yeah, so it was ugly. I really don't. I tried to find some other people that built this car, and I didn't notice that they had the same problems. But there's not a lot of builds out there. At least it wasn't mentioned because they don't do in-depth builds. Some of the people that I found, it was just, hey, here's what I built. So I'm not really sure how they address these things, or if it was me. But the way it felt, I don't think it was. I mean, it's got a metal axle in the front and back, and when I think about the way the tires were flayed out, maybe I didn't have them in enough, but I had drilled out the holes so the rod would sit better, you know, make sure that it went completely to the bottom. So I don't think it was that. So I'm not really sure what it was, but I had to hack at this. I think we took about a 1/16 of an inch, because the front wasn't so bad with the wheels sticking out, but they were. But we moved them in, not quite an eighth, but very close to an eighth on each side. In order to do that, I had to hack apart the lower control arms, the upper, these have got an upper horizontally, from this side to this side leaf spring. I had to cut that off in order to get the wheels to fit, and then I had to raise the wheels up a bit to give it a lower look on the front. So yeah, I kind of butchered that. The back was even worse because there's no room to really work here. I had to, again, hacking at the lower control arms, the leaf spring, the rear wheel axle housing had to be cut, and in the end that gave me the clearance to tuck the wheels in, and I still had to move them upwards because, again, it had a high riding booty, kind of, I'm exaggerating, but it was kind of like this. In the end, basically, the wheels are almost attached to the inner fender wells is how it's sitting right now, to get the wheels to look like they're supposed to, or close to where they're supposed to. They probably should be a little bit more tucked in, to be honest with you. But anyway, nobody's going to be turning it over and looking and going, oh, look at that, you destroyed it. But the overall look is supposed to be here. So we got that done. So the wheels are done. Now we're going, I still have to reattach the exhaust system because I had pulled that off to make clearance for the back wheels. And then we're going to have to start putting on the chrome bits, the windshield frame, the windshield, the front and rear bumper, headlights, all that kind of stuff. So on to the next thing.